bright and focused with a little bit of red fruit, compote, kirsch, and red plums on the foreplate, finishing with a typical Pinot richness and held in suspension with a solid core of acidity. So this is a really good wine. Like I said, wine of the day. We're going to be doing wine. Like I said, I'm going to be going out to a couple of vineyards. Coming up in my future episodes, we're going to go out there and be talking with them and see how they make the wine. Hopefully I get to smash some grapes on my feet with my fist, whatever. However they make their wine to get those grapes and all that other stuff smashed up, I want to do it. So I'm going to be going out to a couple of vineyards, hopefully sometime this summer. And I am. I'm just going to show up at some of these vineyards and tell them I'm doing a podcast on wine. Pretty sure they'll love that because they want to get their name out there just in case it's not all the way out there. And I know this podcast, like I said, I'd already done a podcast before for 2 years, and it was all over the country, all over the world. This one is going to just do the same, except it's going to be a whole lot better. So I'm glad everybody has listened in to Weddings, Music, and Wine with Nuu, and that's me. So I'm going to be able to just go ahead and just get out of here. I'm not going to do a long broadcast today. They'll get a little bit longer because especially once I get guests onto the show. I got a couple of guests already coming up. Shout out to Raymond Power. He's an actor and performer and director. That's right here in the country right now. I think he's up in Washington, but he's always everywhere. So he's going to be on the show soon. Tati Yayo, which is an artist as well, going to have her on the show as well. Lou John, which was actually one of my producers and one of my main music people on my last podcast. I'm going to have him on the show as well, and so many others as well. So I'm going to leave you guys not with just not anything. So I want to leave you guys with a little bit of just a love, because this is mostly about love. Like I said, it's weddings, music, and wine. We're going to leave y'all with a little bit of something little funny, but still, I mean, it's a little true too. So, What is Love by Leon Phelps.
What's happening? You got the latest man, Leon Phelps here. And I am looking at a half-empty bottle of Cavassier, which means that we are just about out of time. But before I go, I'd like to leave you with just one more thought. This is a little something that I wrote. And I read, what is love? What is this longing in our hearts for togetherness? Is it not the sweetest flower? Does not this flower of love have the fragrant aroma of fine, fine diamonds? Does not the wind love the dirt? Is not love not unlike the unlikely knot it is unlikened to? Are you with someone tonight? Do not question your love. Take your lover by the hand. Release the power within yourself. You heard me, release the power. Tame the wild cosmos with a whisper. Conquer heaven with one intimate caress. That's right, don't be shy. Whip out everything you got and do it in the butt. By Leon Phelps.
This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world.
Well, that was Leon Phelps from the movie The Ladies Man. Y'all remember The Ladies Man? It was on Saturday Night Live. He actually had a movie too, and that was his little poem at the. I believe it was at the end of the movie, middle of the movie. I don't know, but it's such a funny movie. So yeah. But what is love? Love is awesome. Love is cool. Love is weddings, music, and wine with Nuu. So thank you guys for listening in. Thanks for drinking with me, and thank you for being you. Have a great rest of the day and an even better week and weekend. And I will talk with you all next week with an all new episode, all new tips for your wedding day, new music, of course, and a brand new wine of the day. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks again. I am gone. Weddings. Music.
Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player.
Okay, get up. Dipset. Uh-oh. Joel Santana. Heatmakers. I think this is the one.
And wine. With Nuu.
This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world. This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world. This is DJ Nuu,
Out the corner with the money, I got a bird.
Weddings.
For life. I also vow that you will never feel like you're second best, that you're not wanted or even an afterthought. I vow to encourage you to continue to be the very best that you can be.
I will never fumble your heart. I will always put our marriage first, and I will always try to be the best husband possible for you. It's safe with me. It's
Music. And wine. With Nuu.
This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world.
Hello. It's your head of the table and head of this podcast. Welcome to Weddings, Music, and Wine with Nuu. Live streaming right now to you from Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker, Spreaker.com. Available later on all major streaming services, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and JO7, the largest Indian streaming service in the world. I'm hella excited to be back for episode 2 with Nuu. My last show was a fun one, and glad I was able to reintroduce myself to all the fans and audiences. Y'all know how we do.
This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world.
Yes, I am the most interesting DJ in the world, and I already have the show playing overseas in the UK. So thank you all who tuned in and downloaded episode 1. You are the real MVPs. Looking forward to expanding to a lot more states here in the US and also more countries across the world. In my previous episode on the wedding segment, I gave out my 10 steps to wedding planning. On this episode, I will go over the first 2 with a precise breakdown, and next episode I will do the next 2, and so on and so forth. I also have new original music for your wedding cocktail hour and maybe the ceremony as well, while guests are still filtering in the beginning of the ceremony, and of course the wine of the day with the synopsis and the origin of the wine itself. Now, if you didn't tune in for the first episode, first off, shame on you. But 2, this show will have tips on do's and don'ts of planning your wedding, along with other tidbits about your special day, and also special guests as well to guide you through your wedding. Like I mentioned earlier, music with original and instrumentals for your listening pleasure with guests from the music world, DJs, singers, more artists coming your way, and at last but definitely not least, the wine of the day, synopsis of the wine itself. As I said before, while I will be partaking as well, because I am drinking on a little bit of wine right now. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. That means drinking on throughout the show, along with wine enthusiasts I'll be talking with, and also visiting wine vineyards and wineries all over the country starting this weekend, and definitely will be going to some more this summer in Washington, Pennsylvania, Texas, down south, California, interviewing the people in charge of the wonderful wines and establishments. So sit back, grab a glass of wine, maybe some cheese or something else, and just sit back and just enjoy this little episode I got coming up for you, as I give you the business of weddings, music, and wine with Nuu, streaming on Spreaker.com and available on all major streaming services, along with iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and JO7, the largest Indian streaming service in the world. As I mentioned earlier on the last episode, I gave you my 10 steps for planning a wedding, but now I'll be breaking 2 of those steps down, starting with pick your date. Now, I said last time, pick your date, make sure it's tentative or permanent, break it down into 2 dates, but also you got to break it down into so many other things as well, like sentimental value. For instance, options include your grandparents' or parents' wedding date, the date you first met, or when you started going out, or the date of your proposal. I mean, it got to be sentimental as well. Milestone marker, a date that will mark your 5th, 10th, 15th, etc. year together. So you want to make sure you milestone mark your date as well. Forget me not, a number sequence that is easy for you to remember, like 5-5 or 11-12, 12-4, which is my birthday. A number sequence is always good too, so you can easily remember, just in case your husband or wife can't remember. It's like, when is our anniversary, and they can't remember. Just make sure you got an easy number for both of you to at least remember, so one of you don't get in